Greetings, Saberforge and YouTube. Mostly YouTube because I can't actually post this next video on the Saberforge because of one of the two subjects. As many of you may be aware, I recently bought a Saberforge Reborn, which is Saberforge's rendition of Darth Revan's Purple Saber. Within 2 weeks of my ordering that saber, Ultrasabers released, or set on pre-release, the Butcher, which is basically their version of the same saber. I promised several people over on Saberforum, as well as those of you who watched my initial review of the Reborn, that I would do a side-by-side once I had both in hand. We have the Saberforge Reborn and the Ultrasabers Butcher. As you can see, the first comparison is quite plain to the eye, as in which one is actually bigger. From actual emitter, not the veins, from the actual emitter, the Ultrasabers version is almost 2 inches longer. If you go more where the grip sits, it's still about 1 inch longer, and the veins wind up about equal. The Saberforge version, obviously due to its smaller size, does grip much better and spins easier because it's a lighter saber. I actually prefer the beefy feel of the Butcher myself, but that's just me. Now, as you can see, that vein section that's present on the Butcher in all 3 sections is only present in 1 section of the Reborn. Other than that, the details are very similar, although I freely admit I did buy the Reborn plain. I could have just as easily ordered it in the black and silver. I had my reasons for not doing it then, mostly because if I decide to black this, I want to do it myself. Now, as far as construction goes, the Ultrasabers version is very solidly constructed. Blades are firmly anchored in place, blades firmly anchored, and switch is fairly protected with the assistance of the veins. In the case of the Saberforge version, the fronts of the blades are anchored very well. I will not fault that. These are a little loose, but that's because I specifically ordered them not to glue them. I ordered it without the stuff glued into place. So those being loose is on me. Now, on the other hand, you can see it. The ends of the veins are not anchored down. So you can move them by hand. I mean, granted, it's only through here that you can move them, because up here they're anchored down pretty good. I don't like the way that feels in my hand, because in some spins you can actually feel them shift. Now, those aspects aside, let me pop the kill key on this thing. All right, we're going to start by comparing the loudness, because this is one of the things that people ask me about. Which one was louder? That is the Reborn with the sound set on high. Since the individual review, I was actually able to get into the menu and adjust the volume. Now, as you can tell, with the Ultrasabers version running, you can barely hear the Saberforge. That may not be a big thing to some of you. To me, it is a big thing. In fact, my son joked with this thing on low that, is that even on? Is the sound even running? Now, the other question came to brightness. Now, I'm going to be honest, These are both running their purple LEDs from Saberforge and from Ultrasabers. And on video, yeah, even there you can tell the difference. Now, the Ultrasabers one is running, or the Butcher rather, is running a Ultra Edge heavy grade blade, whereas the Saberforge one is running their standard blade. I don't remember what they call it. But as you can see, the Saberforge blade is considerably brighter. Now, I don't see that necessarily as a big plus or a big minus. Let me get these shut off so I don't have to talk over them. Now, like I said, I like them both. I like the fact that the Saberforge version comes standard with the in-hilt recharge. What I don't like with the Saberforge one is the ease with which you can accidentally get into the menus. You hold the activation switch too long, turning it on. Instead of it coming on, you're in the menu. And you pretty much wind up having to bounce through the whole menu to get everything set back up the way you wanted it. I've figured out about where that touch needs to be, so we're good there now. Quality-wise, it's an excellent saber. In fact, they are both excellent sabers. I'd be proud to carry either one of them. In fact, I was thinking seriously, actually, about making the Reborn a Shoto to complement the Butcher. I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope this lets you all kind of see how the two compare. I'll apologize in advance if it came off as I was biased toward the Ultrasabers version, but I am.